Have you ever met a woman, felt an instant spark, and then watched her completely pull away just a few days later? No explanation, no warning, just radio silence. It feels like a mystery, right? But psychology shows it's actually a predictable formula. Attraction isn't a permanent state. It's a living emotion that requires the right environment to survive. And unfortunately, most men are accidentally killing it without even realizing they're doing it. Today, I'm breaking down the 4 specific behaviors that cause women to lose attraction faster than anything else. By the end of this video, you won't just know what these mistakes are, you'll understand the exact psychological triggers behind them and how to switch your behavior to naturally keep her hooked. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the silent text message killer. Second, we'll dive into the hidden trap of the approval seeker. Third, we'll expose the predictable guy routine. And finally, we'll reveal the ultimate attraction killer that instantly shifts you into the friend zone. Let's dive straight in. Let's start with the most common arena where attraction dies: modern dating: your phone. Imagine this scenario. You have an amazing first date. The conversation flows, you laugh, you kiss goodnight. You get home and you're excited, so you text her. Then you text her again the next morning. And by lunchtime, you're sending a paragraph about your day. What happens next? Her responses get shorter. The emojis disappear. Why? Here's the interesting part. Humans are wired by the scarcity principle. In psychology, we know that when something is overly abundant, its perceived value drops. When you flood her phone with non-stop texts, you aren't showing interest. You're removing the mystery. You are taking away her opportunity to miss you. But most people miss this key detail. It's not just about how often you text, it's about the emotional energy behind it. If you are constantly checking your phone, waiting for that typing bubble, you are operating from a place of anxiety. Women can sense that digital desperation from a mile away. So what's the fix? Treat texting as a logistics tool to set up real-life interactions, not a substitute for a relationship. Give her space to wonder what you're doing. Let her be the one to initiate the next conversation. But what if you're past the texting phase and hanging out in person, but she still seems bored? That brings us to our second behavior. Picture this. You're at a nice restaurant. She mentions she absolutely hates reality TV. You actually love watching Survivor. But instead of saying that, you quickly agree and say, "Oh yeah, totally. It's mindless garbage." You think you're being agreeable. You think you're building rapport. But what happens next is surprising. Subconsciously, her attraction drops. Dating psychology reveals that women are deeply calibrated to detect authenticity. When a man constantly agrees with everything a woman says, nods along to every opinion, and has no boundaries of his own, he becomes a chameleon. Why is this a turnoff? Because if you don't have the confidence to stand by your own opinions, she realizes you're just performing to get her approval. And a man who needs constant approval cannot provide emotional security. It signals low status and low confidence. What should you do instead? Have an opinion. If she likes a band you can't stand, playfully tell her. Disagreement isn't the enemy of attraction. It's the fuel for tension and chemistry. A healthy debate shows you are your own person, and that is incredibly magnetic. Now, having your own opinions is great, but there's another trap men fall into once they get comfortable, and it turns a thrilling romance into a dull routine. Let's talk about routine. Routine is great for your gym schedule or your finances, but for early-stage attraction, it is absolute poison. Think about a movie you've watched 5 times. You know every line, every plot twist, and exactly how it ends. Is it still comforting? Sure. Is it thrilling? Not at all. When a woman can predict your every move, your every text, and your every date idea, the dopamine in her brain drops. Dopamine is the chemical of anticipation. It triggers when we expect a reward, but aren't entirely sure when or how it's coming. When you become 100% predictable, the dopamine stops firing. She no longer feels that nervous, exciting, butterflies in the stomach sensation. The relationship starts feeling like a chore or a business meeting. You don't need to fly her to Paris on a Tuesday to fix this. Small shifts matter. If you always take her out for drinks on Friday, take her to an arcade or a late-night drive-in comedy show instead. Change the rhythm of your communication. Break the pattern. Keep her guessing just enough so she stays invested in the story you're writing together. But there is one final behavior that is the ultimate point of no return. Do this, and you bypass the boring phase entirely and go straight into a category you can almost never escape. This last behavior is something well-meaning men do all the time because they think it's what women want. They step into the caregiver or fixer role way too early in the relationship. Let's say she tells you about a minor disagreement she had with her coworker. Instead of just listening and letting her vent, you immediately step in to fix it. You offer to write an email for her. You get stressed out on her behalf. Or you start buying her gifts to cheer her up. Or worse, you start doing her laundry and driving her errands before you've even agreed to be exclusive. Here is the psychological reality. When you overinvest and start managing her life before a deep romantic foundation is built, you shift the dynamic from romantic partners to a parent-child relationship. You aren't creating attraction, you are creating comfort. And while comfort is essential for long-term love, it does not create raw desire. When a man acts like a caregiver too soon, a woman's subconscious registers him as safe, reliable, and entirely non-sexual. The sexual tension evaporates. Be her partner, not her therapist or her parent. Let her face her own challenges while you stand beside her as an equal, supportive, confident force. Let's recap what we learned today. Attraction dies fast when you suffocate her with texts, lose your own identity just to please her, fall into a completely predictable routine, or step into the caregiver role too early. The common thread across all four behaviors? They all come from a place of fear, the fear of losing her. But the irony of dating psychology is that the more you act out of fear, the faster you push her away. True attraction thrives on confidence, independence, and a little bit of mystery. I want to hear from you now. Which of these four behaviors have you accidentally done in the past, and how did it change things? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a deep dive into the psychology of modern dating. Thanks for watching. I'm Olivia, and I'll see you in the next video.